Now, all of a sudden, terror alert, terror alert. 19 different embassies and consulates in the Middle East and North Africa are being shut down for the week. And on Friday, we began to hear rumblings of significant and imminent threats to not necessarily to the country, but to our embassies and consulates. And then we got a steady stream of pro-government, pro-establishment, pro-NSA senators, congressmen, generals, administration officials coming out saying, oh my God, terror alert. Now, is it real or is it Memorex? Well, let's decide together. First of all, General Martin Dempsey.
A significant threat stream, and we're reacting to it.
Is the threat to blow up an embassy, a consulate, or something else?
That part of it is unspecified, but the intent seems clear.
And the intent is to what?
The intent is to attack Western, not just U.S. interests.
All right, so in the beginning, when we first started hearing about this, it was, they're coming, Al-Qaeda is coming. Now it's, well, I mean, not here at home, but maybe our embassies. Okay, well, maybe not our embassies, maybe somebody else's embassies. Interesting. Britain, France, and Germany have also closed down some embassies. Okay, well, let's go on to the politicians. Now, this is Representative Ruppesberger, who's a Democrat, who's loyal to the administration, and voted no on the Masse amendment, meaning that he's pro-NSA spying. Let's listen.
This sounds like a very frightening, very credible threat.
Yes, it is it's a very credible threat, and it's based on intelligence. Intelligence is the best defense against terrorism. Those operatives are in place because we've received information that high-level people from Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula are talking about a major attack, and these are people in a high level.
Oh, they're high level, and it's a major attack that they're thinking of doing. I got news for you. Al-Qaeda is constantly thinking of doing a major attack. Now, whether it's imminent is the question at hand, right? And don't get me wrong, are there threats? I'm positive there are. Of course there are, right? They're in the business of threats. And one of the ones that was given out in one of these, hyperbolic, attendance in the media and presentations, et cetera, by all these government officials was, oh my God, they could have the bomb within their body. New suicide bomber threat, the bomb's inside the body. Well, those X-ray machines they have at the TSA, the one where you hold your hands above your head, they also see inside your body. So, okay. And then as I was reading that part, I was like, I swear I could remember that they had actually written about this earlier. And lo and behold, you look it up, and yes, there were news articles about how they were going to put the bomb inside the body and do a suicide bombing that way last year. Oh my, imminent, everybody panic. Okay, now here come the Republicans that are pro-establishment. Peter King.
This threat was so specific as to how enormous it was going to be, and also there were certain dates were given, but it didn't specify where it's going to be. And the assumption is that it's probably most likely to happen in the Middle East, at or about one of the embassies, but there's no guarantee of that at all. It could be in Europe, it could be in the United States, it could be a series of combined attacks.
Oh, here we go, on the awesome speculation. Well, we have no idea where it could be, so even though we think it might be in an embassy in the Middle East or North Africa, it could be in Europe, it could be in the US, everybody panic! Make sure you allow us to do more spying. Well, did any of your illegal spying on Americans get you the information about how there might be an embassy attack in places like Yemen? No, they didn't say that. They just said panic, okay? Now, and Peter King panics like the best of them. But they haven't said the magic words yet. That's why we bring in Saxby Chambliss.
Well, the one thing that we can talk about, David, is the fact that there's been an awful lot of chatter out there. Chatter means conversation among terrorists about the planning that's going on, very reminiscent of what we saw pre-9/11. And I can tell you, David, this is the most serious threat that I've seen in the last several years.
Ding, 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 there we have it, 9/11. Now all the boxes are checked off. Now that 9/11 has been mentioned in a sentence. There's chatter among Al-Qaeda. Really? They're chattering these days, are they? Now, recently, Ayman al-Zawahiri, who's now the head of Al-Qaeda, had put out a statement that he's upset about the drone attacks by the U.S. and what's happening in Guantanamo. And that's different from what's been happening over the last 5 years. How? I'm pretty sure he's been upset about that for quite some time. So now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a conspiracy theorist in the sense that, you know, when people start telling me about what temperature iron or steel melts at, I don't know, dude, I don't know, okay? And so I'm not going in that direction. They're not making up stuff, right? So is there some evidence about hiding bombs within your body? I'm sure there is. They wrote about it last year, right? Is there chatter among Al-Qaeda? Has it even picked up steam recently? I could believe that, right? It's just that, if anything Monk has taught me, it's that there are no such thing as coincidences. So in the midst of the NSA at an absolute red alert panic, because there was a 205 to 217 vote in the House where they almost took away their domestic spying program. Right after that, and every single one of these guys, whether it's Ruppersberger, who's a Democrat, whether it's Peter King, whether it's Saxby Chambliss, who are Republicans, Lindsey Graham, every one of them are the most ardent NSA spying guys. They're the ones that jumped out in front of the TV cameras first and said, we got to do that NSA spying. We have to do it. We have to do it. Are now all back out in front of a camera saying, danger, danger, it's imminent. Oh my God, it's going to be catastrophic. It's specific. It's credible. So is it possible that there was for the purposes of the NSA, a wonderful coincidence that at a time when people were questioning whether they should do that domestic spying, they get this terror alert and they close down embassies so that we don't question things that are of importance to national security. Hey, everybody, remember, you could die in a bombing, right? It could be a wonderful coincidence for them. My guess is all this evidence already was out there for a long, long time, and if they ever needed a terror alert, they could cobble it together, put it out at the same time, and go, oh my God, look at the evidence. And it's, you know why I think that? It's because I've been to this movie before. It was called the Bush administration. I remember when John Ashcroft did an emergency press conference when he was on a trip abroad in Russia. And he said, oh my God, press conference, we've got the dirty, dirty bomber, Jose Padilla. Which we, of course, later found out was not a dirty bomber at all. And, by the way, they had arrested him 5 months earlier. They do this, the Bush administration did this on a regular basis. So, basically, what I see happening here is President Obama going to full Bush. He had done almost everything except a couple of things like torture. He still outsources that. They still do renditions to other countries where they might do torture, but we don't do it here at home, okay? And he hadn't done the fear-mongering with the terror alerts. Well, that's one of the last checks. When all of a sudden national security is being questioned and their illegal spying program is being questioned, my God, it turns out Al-Qaeda is interested in bombing us. Boy, I didn't see that coming. So you call it anything you like, but it's awfully fishy timing. Of course they should take it seriously, but remember one last thing. If they really thought that they had specific intelligence about how somebody was going to do this important a bombing, do you think they'd really announce it to the whole world? Like, oh, we caught them talking about it, but we didn't actually bother connecting it back to who it was, and we're just going to announce it to them so that they can go in hiding and we'll never catch them. Maybe it could be that they thought the attack was so imminent that they had to say, oh man, that sucks, but I got to let this trail go, and I got to let them tip them off to the fact that we're onto them by announcing it to the whole world because I got to close down the embassies. I don't want anybody getting hurt. It's possible. But don't believe everything the government tells you automatically, as the rest of the media has. You turn on TV anywhere, right now they're in perfect propaganda mode. It's also possible that this seems awfully convenient, because it is awfully convenient.